So a number of years ago, I learned the true meaning of Christmas in a conversation with the young mother of 3 small children, little ones like our Violet here. Yeah, I really think I did. I think I learned the true meaning of Christmas in this conversation I had with this young mother, a young woman who had 3 small children. I ran into her at a party. We didn't know each other well, but we were acquainted enough that she felt comfortable saying to me, "Can I ask you a question?" She said, "I know we're at a party, but I have a question for the priest." I said, "Yeah, of course, yeah. That's what we do, right?" And she said, "My question is this: may I tell you why we don't come to church anymore?" I said, "Yeah, sure, please tell me." And I meant it. I wanted to know if you're not coming anymore. Well, in truth, if it's a reason other than that you're mad at the priest, yes, I want to hear it. And that wasn't her reason. I said, "Yeah, tell me. And she said, "Well, here it is." She's very sincere. She said, "Last time I brought my family to church was Christmas Eve." She said, "Got all the kids dressed for church and we came out. And the sermon that night, that Christmas Eve, was all about how Christmas is not about gift giving and about how badly people have gone overboard buying their children so many gifts." She said, "That was the sermon on Christmas Eve." And she said, my takeaway, the implication was, for me anyway, that people like me," and she pointed to herself, have ruined Christmas. And she said, "I was listening there and I was feeling like that was the message, and I looked at my kids there coloring in the pew beside me, and I thought to myself, but we've already bought the gifts. And they're wrapped and they're under the tree," she said, "and I just sat there feeling guilty and bad about myself and wondering, had we done Christmas wrong? Had we done Christmas wrong?" And she said, "You know, I get enough of those feelings of guilt and have I done it wrong in my day-to-day. I don't need any more. And that's why we don't come to church." And my heart sank when she told me that story. It's a true story. My heart sank when she told me that story. And the line, "Had we done Christmas wrong? Had we done Christmas wrong?" has stuck with me all these years later. You see, I knew then and there when she said that to me that it was not her. It was not the young mother who misunderstood Christmas. Quite the opposite. When we're at our worst, it's the church. When we're at our worst, it's the church that has no idea what Christmas means. You see, Christmas is not about you or me. Christmas doesn't care if you go way overboard with your gift giving. Nor does Christmas care if you don't have anything to give. Because you see, Christmas is about Jesus calmly walking onto the scene, showing up in the middle of it all, no matter what. So in honor of that mother and her precious, sincere question, had we done it wrong, I want to say to you from this pulpit on this Christmas Eve, if you have gone totally out of your mind overboard, and you're going to give your kids, your loved ones, if Santa Claus is coming with like a semi-truck to your house, and your people are going to be the most spoiled people in the bluegrass, good for you. I hope with all my heart, now I mean this, I hope with all my heart that you find joy and laughter in the extravagance. And I hope you know that Jesus is here. that Jesus is here. That Christmas is not about you and me. Christmas is about God come among us no matter what, in the middle of the muck and the mess in Jesus Christ. And likewise, not everybody can overdo it, right? So likewise, I want to say to you, on this Christmas Eve, from this pulpit, if you were barely able to manage a few disappointing gifts that you haven't even wrapped yet, I hope with all my heart, that you find love, buried in the absolute inadequacy of it all. And I hope you know that Christmas is not about you and me. Christmas is about God. Come among us. In the middle of the muck and the mess of it all, Jesus the Christ is here. So one year, a 21-year-old young man that I knew, who lived in our church's homeless shelter down in East Tennessee, wanted to give me, the priest, a gift for Christmas. But he didn't have any money, and he'd never known a priest before, so he didn't have a clue what to buy a priest for Christmas. Of course, he didn't have to get me anything at all, but he really wanted to. I didn't know anything about it. He told me the story later. Finally, through his struggle of what do you buy the priest, he knew what his present to me would be. He was a recovering drug addict, and he had just gotten his 1-year sobriety chip from Narcotics Anonymous. You see, he had done the impossible. He had stayed sober for an entire year. And so he took his NA chip, that 1-year chip, and he wrapped his chip up, y'all, and he gave it to me for Christmas. It was all that he had to give. And he wrote that in the note, it's all I have to give. It's the most important thing. I give it to you. And I carry that chip with me still. It's in my pocket right now because it is the most wonderful, heartfelt gift. But I don't want you for a second to think that his present to me is better than the young mother's load of gifts for her children. Does that make sense? And I don't want you to think for a second that her gifts are better than his. What I want you to know is that they're both perfect. I said they're both perfect. And they're both perfect little doorways into the true meaning of Christmas. You see, Christmas is the love of God and Jesus Christ born into the midst of whatever is. No matter what you have to give, Jesus is here. That's Christmas. So if your Christmas is an absolute embarrassment of riches, Jesus is in the middle of it all. And if your Christmas is embarrassingly meager, Jesus is in the middle of it all. If your Christmas is pure joy, if your Christmas is something just awful, if your Christmas is boring, if your Christmas is the annual family fight. Is anybody in the middle of that right now? Don't raise your hands. Oh, we'll get it. Huh? There's some human families in the room tonight. If your Christmas is love-drenched high delight, no matter what your Christmas is or is not, Jesus is in the middle of it. See, the true meaning of Christmas is that you can't do it wrong. Love is a current running through it all. You can't get away from love. Love is always moving towards you. That's the true meaning of Christmas. So you can't ruin Christmas. Somebody's sitting next to somebody else going, "You're ruining Christmas tonight. I don't care what he says." You're wrong. You can't ruin Christmas because Christmas is not about you or me or even this beautiful church. Christmas is about God showing up no matter what. So what I want you to know is that even if you can't see it, the redeeming, sustaining love of Jesus Christ is absolutely everywhere. There is nowhere that God is not, and that is Christmas. So look for love, dear ones. Look for love in all the corners of your Christmas. And know that God is here. And know that love is all. And please, please know this. You can't do Christmas wrong. Merry Christmas, y'all. Merry Christmas. Amen.